Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at the top 10 old meta Pokemon that got buffed for the Open Great League for the next season. Why do I make this video? Because I felt like kinda with the buffs that we got, it was kinda really much geared towards Pokemon that have been good beforehand and were kinda bad over the last like 4 or 5 seasons. And now we're going to take a look at Pokemon that really haven't been great in ages, but were former top Pokemon for the Open Great League and now kinda have a bit more potential again with the recent buffs. So all of the 10 Pokemon here are going to be buffed today, but also all of the 10 Pokemon kinda dropped off a little bit, have been like Meta Kings from old seasons. And so, if you enjoy this kind of video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and we can start off with the first Pokemon, which is more of the Pokemon that's quite obvious. It's gonna be Altaria. We're going to not really have to talk too much about it, but I always want to give a little bit of history towards this Pokemon, and Altaria was one of the first Pokemon that were like really top meta in PvP. This Pokemon was absolutely fantastic in like the first few seasons, and eventually it got nerfed with a Sky Attack, which mainly was geared towards the Skarmory, which was too broken and was overtaking the meta. But in this season it got to get so many buffs, with Peck being buffed, with Dragon Breath being changed to be fair, a little bit better, to Sky Attack being a little bit cheaper, to Flamethrower being added on the moveset, to Dragon Pulse being a little bit better as well for the upcoming meta. Altaria is getting so many buffs, which is the main Pokemon which I was like, I kind of want to showcase this kind of video here as well, just to show on how the recent changes were really geared towards like old Meta Kings. And here Altaria is of course one of them, but there's going to be more that we're gonna take a look at now. Have you missed this Pokemon? Because all of a sudden, if the meta is like this, which by the way, I think that the meta is going to shift a little bit towards what PvPoke shows right now, because PvPoke actually, which I didn't know before, but people in the comment section actually were saying it to me, and yeah, that was correct as well. PvPoke says that Charm gets +3 energy for this next season, which I can't really see happening. So I think like a lot of the Charmers are not really as great as they are shown here, but generally, Galarian Stunfisk is going to be one of those Pokemon that's gonna benefit a ton from the meta that we have, because it's gonna destroy Carbink and Bastiodon. The typing itself is great. It's going to be basically a different role kinda compared to the Steelix, which has the same kind of typing. And Galarian Stunfisk goes from 113 to rank 52 and also got buffed with Rockslide doing more damage again, which is the main reason why this Pokemon is kind of back again as well. Now it has a cheap move that you can run that is going to allow you to still do some solid damage with Rockslide. Earthquake, of course, doing some very much nice damage as well, but the typing itself is just great. Cool Pokemon, very good bulk. Yeah, Galarian Stunfisk definitely back. Like, look at the wins that this Pokemon has and tell me that this Pokemon wouldn't be great next season. So, Galarian Stunfisk literally was, by the way, dominating the meta since the release of it until, like, I don't know, 6-7 seasons ago. Then got nerfed with a Machamp being nerfed, with a Rockslide being nerfed, and Earthquake, I think, being nerfed all in one season. And since then, it didn't see any play at all. Nobody was running it, and now it is going to be back. Sorry for that. But we're gonna take a look now at one more obvious one as well. Trevenant. Trevenant was dominating for I think 3 seasons the meta, together with Noctowl and a Lantern. There was a different meta as well, where it was dominating together with Araquanid and Walrein, but Trevenant was there for quite a long period of time, to the point where I searched for a specific IV spread which was able to destroy other Trevenant and win against a lot of other Pokemon, which I still have to this point, which is a 0.15.6 if anybody wants to know that. For this Pokemon here, this is going to be, yeah, a Pokemon that is very, very strong. It's a Pokemon that is going to get buffed with Seed Bomb. And the main reason why this Pokemon is going to be so strong, this is, by the way, here showcasing Seed Bomb. It's 40 energy instead of 35. I hope it's 35, but I think it's going to be 40 as well. Seed Bomb is not a strong move at all, but with this, the pacing is going to be so much better for the Trevenant, which makes it so much easier to use. And literally halved its rating there from 284 to 142, making it, again, definitely playable in the meta, having a lot of good matchups, and the Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball combination on a Pokemon like this is really, really good. Very interesting typing as well, same as the Decidueye. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting pick. Again, a Pokemon that was a Meta King back in the day. Haven't seen any play in like literally since Seed Bomb got changed and since a lot of other things got changed. And yeah, now it's kinda back, which is kinda funny. More of an obvious one is going to be Bastiodon. Well, yes, Bastiodon never really disappeared. it has been quite more uncommon to be seen a Bastiodon over the last few seasons, especially compared to like the earlier seasons. As soon as the XXL updates came around, Bastion completely took over the meta, even before it was used like quite frequently. But with the update of the XL feature there, this Pokemon got completely busted and was so strong to the point where they nerfed it then with Smackdown, but also buffed like counterplay to it. For example, the Mud Steppers weren't really a thing in the beginning, and so Bastiodon was actually running kind of free for a long time to the point where every team had to be prepared for Bastiodon. And now this is going to be the case again here as well, because this Pokemon looks absolutely amazing in the current meta. It is the number 6 Pokemon, it got buffed with Smackdown, and it's a Pokemon that you have to prepare for. If you are not prepared for Bastiodon, this Pokemon can destroy the entire team. And that's kind of scary, isn't it? So yeah, this is going to be a Pokemon that you definitely kind of want to have for the next season, and it's going to be one of those old meta Pokemon that are back again. Is this the same for Lickitung? And this is something that I was wondering, because Lickitung has Body Slam, which got nerfed significantly like a few seasons back, getting a minus 10 damage drop. You're gonna get plus 5 now this season, so we're still in a total compared to when Lickitung was literally on every team of minus 5 damage on the Body Slam. But what mainly changed for Lickitung as well is the meta around it. There are a lot of Pokemon that kind of power crept up, which made Lickitung a little bit more, not looking too overpowered anymore. And this is also kind of the main thing for this Pokemon. It got buffed, but actually the meta ranking, it dropped, which is interesting. That Body Slam made it drop like in literally every kind of way. So I am not too sure if this Pokemon is going to be too good, because it just doesn't have the coverage that it needs against like the Steel type Pokemon, especially in this meta, which I think are going to be very good. But that being said, I do think that Lickitung is going to be very good, as soon as the meta going to shift again towards a little bit away from the Steel types that are going to be very strong in the upcoming season. Abomasnow is going to be here next. This Pokemon got buffed twice actually this season, and this Pokemon again was never actually like the top S tier meta Pokemon, but it was a Pokemon that you had to consider. There were teams that were like literally so overpowered and quite commonly seen with Abomasnow as like a counterplay to the Azumarill Swampert meta back in the day. You were good against the flying types, you were kind of breaking, for example, in the meta where, for example, Trevenant was also very strong, you were breaking the Lantern, Trevenant, and Noctowl core, as you were able to hit all 3 of them for super effective damage. And this is also kind of the main niche of Abomasnow, being basically the only ice and grass type Pokemon I think ever. This Pokemon is going to have such a unique niche, and this is going to be also kind of what it's going to have next season. And it's got buffed with Leafage, being now a Shadow Claw clone, doing a little bit better than the Powder Snow, still the same kind of pacing. But Weather Ball Ice got buffed as well by 5 damage, and which by the way was also at a higher like damage output beforehand as well. The Weather Ball was nerfed before, dropped by 5 damage, now it's back up at 5 damage, so it's kind of where it was a few seasons back, like 10 seasons or like even more than this I think. But Abomasnow, a Pokemon that was really good back in the day, still saw sometimes some play in like limited metas, might actually be back for even the main meta, which is kind of cool to see that this Pokemon has so much potential now. Guess who's back as well? Most likely going to be on a thumbnail, because it's something that I completely did not actually realize, that this Pokemon is going to be one that got buffed here. It's going to be Machamp. Actually climbing quite a significant amount, thanks to Rockset being buffed, and also thanks to the meta being very much geared towards Steel-type Pokemon. And Rockset is going to help you out quite a bit against also some other Pokemon like the Turtonator here. And the pacing of this Pokemon with a Karate Chop is ridiculous, because you're just going to need 4 Fast Move for Cross Chop and 5 for Rock Slide every single time, and that is going to be super fast. So this Pokemon can literally run through a lot of the Pokemon here, especially if they take a long time for that charge moves. You can just go for the 2-shit scenario and just out-spam them the entire time. Machamp is really good. I don't think it's going to be the most common fighter. I still think that's going to be the Annihilate, but I do think that Machamp is going to have more play now, and Rockslide is going to make this Pokemon quite fast and very strong. Another Pokemon that you maybe didn't really expect to be on the list here is going to be Cresselia. I don't want to know how many regionals like Cresselia won already as well. There was a period of time where Cresselia was a must-have for the show 6-pick-3 format, and since then it dropped off completely. And the funny thing is, it didn't get nerfed by any kind of like there is no nerf to Cresselia at all. There was actually one nerf very early on to Cresselia where Moonblast was just busted, where it had a 30% chance of dropping the attack. That got nerfed like literally after like 1 or 2 seasons for it, but that still didn't, like that was before even play Pokemon was a thing for Pokemon Go. And yeah, Cresselia was a Pokemon that was winning regionals left, right, and center, or like getting like really good performances in that. And now I think the time might be back for this Pokemon, because Confusion got buffed, which is actually really cool because you're gonna have now a lot of fast move pressure, but you also have great coverage in Moonblast and Grass Knot. Grass Knot helps you out against like those Mud Boys, especially against all the ground type Pokemon that are still going to be very strong, or even against something like a Lapras, which is a top meta Pokemon, while Moonblast is going to give you good coverage against Pokemon that are, for example, part Dark type, which is going to allow you to hit them for super effective damage, which are very good against you. And so Cresselia is going to climb up quite a bit here, and with a Confusion change, this Pokemon might be very interesting, and even as a Shadow maybe with the Confusion damage. Anyway, we are going to have here Charizard. Charizard is going to be the Pokemon that, I think it's the second to last here of the video by the way, that is going to get so many changes, and I do think that the moveset that you see on the right here is the one that PvPoke suggests. I don't think it's the right one. What I would recommend you to go for is Dragon Breath, the Air Cutter, which is going to be new added to this Pokemon as well, and then Blast Burn. Because with Dragon Breath you still have some nice neutral damage, which is going to be great in the meta of a lot of Dragon type Pokemon. With Air Slash you're going to have the option to boost yourself and have great stab coverage with a very cheap move. With Blast Burn, you're going to have the hardest hitting move kind of for the Charizard, but also just full stop needy in the game on this Pokemon, which would have it out a lot as well. And so I think that's going to be the better moveset. But yeah, this is something we're going to still have to take a look at anyway. Dragon Breath is going to be getting buffed. The Ember is going to get buffed. We have so many changes to this Pokemon. Dragonclaw is going to take more energy and does more damage though. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, and let's move on to the final one for today. I did it again. Moving on to the final one here, which is going to be the Dragonair. Yeah, Dragonair is a Pokemon that was dominant for quite a lot of time as well. It was even, there was certain teams that were literally just built around this Pokemon and built around the potential of this Pokemon, especially in the lead. This Pokemon was insane in the two-shade scenario, which you're not going to see here today, but it's still very insane there. But this Pokemon got buffed with the Dragon Breath, but also I do think that, again, that the moveset on the right side might not be the ideal one. I could see that Wrap maybe is not ideal on this Pokemon. I could see that something like the Dragon Pulse is going to be better. But this Pokemon got buffed quite significantly, which is kind of cool. And yeah, having Rocket Tail after 9 fast moves, like 9 turns, is quite ridiculous. So I do think that Shadow Dragonair is going to have a lot of play here. Again, this Pokemon was a monster before, and now it's going to be back. And this is also going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.